If you're thinking about buying or selling a home in Plano, listen up. Plano just made national headlines, and not in a good way. It was ranked as having the 5th biggest drop in home prices in the entire country since 2025. Now, if you know anything about Plano, that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This has been one of the most stable and in-demand suburbs in all of North Dallas. So what's actually going on here? Is Plano starting to slip? Or is this one of the headlines that doesn't tell the whole story? Because when you dig into the numbers, what's happening in Plano is a lot more complicated than it looks. Some areas saw as much as a 20% decline from last year. Others held up a little better. So today, I'm giving you the full picture and exactly where I would put my money if I was buying here this year. I'm Emily Herenda, Dallas area realtor, and my husband Tim and I have been helping people just like you buy and sell homes here in the Dallas area since 2015. Feel free to subscribe to our channel, and if you'd like us to help you with making a move here, give us a call, text, or email. So if you're new to Dallas, Plano sits just north of both Dallas and Richardson with a population of just under 300,000 people here in 2026. And while Plano is still growing, it's not growing like the suburbs further north. Places like Frisco, Prosper, Salina, and McKinney have something Plano doesn't anymore: room to expand. Plano is essentially built out. Most of the homes here were built between the 1970s and early 2000s, and there's very little new construction left. So right away, you're dealing with a very different kind of housing stock compared to those newer suburbs. Now, historically, what sold people on Plano is the location. It's closer to Dallas, closer to major employers, and for a long time, that justified the price premium. But in 2026, that premium isn't landing the same way that it used to. More people are working from home, and buyers have more options than ever. If they're relocating to Dallas, a lot of them are looking north, where they can get newer homes, better layouts, and more amenities. And if they do need to be closer to downtown, some of them are skipping Plano altogether and going straight into Dallas proper. There are neighborhoods in Dallas that have held their value and even gone up. Same thing with Richardson. It's closer to downtown and the prices have held up. So when you stack all of that up, steady pricing in Dallas, strength in Richardson, and then you get to Plano where prices are down, it starts to paint a pretty clear picture. In 2026, buyers just aren't willing to pay that same premium. But this is where the disconnect really starts to show up. Because even with all that happening, sellers haven't fully adjusted. March of 2026 saw the highest average list price that Plano has ever had, right around $695,000. But the average close price was around $572,000. That is a massive gap. And what that tells you is that a lot of sellers are basing their price on what the market was, while buyers are making their decisions based upon where the market is. And until those two come back into alignment, you're gonna see homes sit. Average days on market is now around 64 days, which for Plano at this time of year is very slow. Even before COVID, homes were not even taking this long to sell. At the same time, sales have been down year over year for 3 straight months. January down 22%, February down 13%, and March down 17%. So you've got more listings, fewer buyers, and longer timelines. That's exactly how you end up with price pressure. Now in a city this size with close to 70,000 detached homes, you're not going to see uniform behavior across the board. Some parts of Plano are holding up just fine, while others are feeling the pressure a lot more. Your worst performing zip code right now is 75074, down nearly 20% year over year. This is East Plano, and there are a lot of good things about East Plano. But in this market, with as many options that buyers have right now, fewer people are choosing to land there. On the flip side, areas like 75093 are holding up much better, with lower days on market and smaller price declines. So this isn't really just a Plano story. It's about which parts of Plano buyers still value and which ones they don't. Now, before you hear all this and think the sky is falling, we need to zoom out, because the long-term picture tells a very different story. Over the past 10 years, home prices in Collin County are up 49%. In Plano, even after this recent dip, prices are still up 62.5%. So Plano is still outperforming the county average over the long term. Homes here are still selling slightly faster than the county average. And even now, the homes that do sell are selling a little bit closer to asking price compared to what you're seeing across the county. Now, if you're a buyer considering Plano in 2026, where should you be looking? because there are real opportunities in Plano right now, but you have to be selective. If I were putting my own money here, I'd be thinking about location first. Areas around Legacy and Legacy West are still a huge draw, and they have held up better than most parts of the city. I'd also be paying attention to what's coming in the future. The Collin Creek redevelopment is a billion-dollar project that's going to completely transform that part of Plano into a mixed-use district. And just north of there, you have the Haggard Farm development, another major project expected to bring new life to the area. So parts of Plano that may have looked a little dated before could look very different in the next few years. And from the practical standpoint, I lean towards homes that were built in the 1990s or newer. Not because older homes can't be great, because over time they tend to come with more maintenance. Things like cast iron plumbing, electrical updates, foundation work, those costs add up. So even if the purchase price looks lower on an older home, your total cost of ownership could end up being higher than you'd expect. So who should be looking in Plano in 2026? If you want a central location in North Dallas, shorter commute times, established neighborhoods with mature trees, and you're okay with buying resale instead of new construction, Plano can be a great option, especially right now when you have more negotiating power than you've had in years. If what you really want is brand new construction, master plan communities, and all the newest amenities, you're probably going to find better options up north. And that's the real takeaway here. Prices in Plano are adjusting to the reality. As North Dallas starts to come into maturity, some of the new suburbs are going to reset what buyers are willing to pay for what used to be viewed as the luxury premium suburb. If you would like to have a conversation about what it would look like for you to buy or sell in Plano, give us a call, text, or email. We'll see you next time.